Check. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Money Talks with Temi. If you're new here, let me take a moment to introduce myself. My name is Temi Agenti, and I'm a finance professional with over 12 years experience in corporate finance and personal finance as well. And I'm deeply passionate about helping people get control of their finances. Now, these sessions that we're having is really me having conversations with other professionals, mostly finance professionals, who I respect for honest conversations really about topics that matter. So tonight, I'm joined by another finance coach whose work I admire deeply. She's a personal finance coach with over 20 years of experience in financial services. She has helped individuals, corporate teams, and members of organizations across the world set up their financial plans and achieve financial clarity. And she's also a published author and a member of the Institute of Management Consultants. Coach T, thank you so much for being here with us. Guys, please
Thank
help me say
you.
welcome to Coach Tabore Olumoye.
Thanks,
Welcome.
thanks for having me. Good evening. Good to be here. Good evening, everyone.
Thank you for honoring the invitation. Okay, so really, Coach T, what I want us to really talk about today is so tonight's conversation is in many ways about this thing that we've been doing. It's the summation of the heart of the work we both do as finance coaches. Because before budgets or investments, there really needs to be a plan. And yet it's the one thing most people never build. Between the two of us, we've sat across hundreds of people who are earning good money and sometimes still feel completely lost.
Right.
What would you say really is the challenge? Why do people think having a finance plan is for people that have already made it?
I think for me, the first place to start is the lack of knowledge. You will always fall to the level of what you know. People simply don't know. And I'll use myself as an example. Prior to 2015, and besides, I'd been a banker for well over 10 years at the time. But prior to 2015, I had no idea there was something called a financial plan. And I was a banker. I was advising people about finance. I was helping people with credit. I was managing accounts in billions. I was in my mind. You see my mind out here. In my mind, I knew money. Then I got exposed to financial planning, and all of my, you know how your reality becomes unraveled. It just becomes like, okay, I am in an alternate universe, an alternate reality. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I realized that I knew absolutely nothing. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I got introduced to the concept of financial planning. And I realized that a financial plan is not having an investment. It is not knowing how to save money. It is not managing money. It's none of all of that. All of those were just like one
Well, small parts.
all together, I wasn't even up to the big picture. I realized that having a financial plan was having a life plan way beyond your own life. In fact, I then began to realize that a financial plan is so powerful that it affects generations. In fact, where you are, that you were born at all, you were the product of someone not having a financial plan. If someone had a financial plan, you may not have been born. Because some of your ancestors won't have been born. You get it now.
Or have happy children.
Or you would have been born in a better setting because your ancestors would have made better decisions. But let's forgive them. They didn't know. But can we be forgiven? We have access to information, access to data. And I realized that even if I will forgive my ancestors and even my parents, because they did the best with what they knew. Now, at that point, I knew better. The work was to do better. So for many people, they're like me pre 2015. They are still there. In fact, sometimes I don't know if this happens to you. You're going around and you're looking at people and you're looking at them and pity is inside your heart. I'm just looking at people and I'm like, do these people know that they are Johnson? Do they know?
Coach T, I work in finance. Like I'm in finance, in the finance division. What we do, everybody's finance. And everybody's so sure that they're amazing with finance.
You get it?
Then there's some questions you ask. Quite a number of my clients are in finance. There are people in finance because at some point you realize this thing I'm doing for work, it does not translate like that to my personal life. You have someone who
Exactly.
is in charge of budgets. You are literally in the budget division. You're the one doing budgets for the company, but you don't even have a personal budget.
Your personal
Oh,
budget.
you're fantastic at managing billions of dollars for a company.
You get it now. So that's it, in fact, and I think that's where people are. The
Mhm.
whole ignorance and the bliss that comes with it. That's why they don't do better. Most times I say, and I firmly believe that if people know better, they will do better. So why do they
I
not?
totally agree.
Yes, if they don't have a financial plan, it's because they don't know better. For those who have heard it, maybe they think it's some theory, it's something that is highfalutin. They cannot connect it to themselves. Because the minute they can connect it to themselves, they will do better. That's my belief. That's what I think.
Thanks, coach. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really agree with you. If people know better, and that's what you find, a lot of people are hearing more about this now.
The
And even
very
if they are not necessarily picking everything, they are becoming more aware. I have a few clients who are like, if only I heard this thing 5 years ago, where my life would be today. If only I met you 5 years ago. I'm like, boy, well, you've met me today. So let's start from where we are today. So when
exactly,
people do know, a lot of people are actually willing and eager to do something about it.
absolutely.
But so what would you say is the costs when when I'm having these conversations with people, and it's mostly the people that know everything, very smart people. They don't believe
Mm.
that you have anything to tell them. And when I'm
Uh-huh.
having these conversations with them, I usually try to paint a picture about just what they are losing financially by not having a full picture. So someone approached me a few maybe a year ago now. I was saying, "Oh, I heard you're a finance coach. We work together." So I was like, "Oh, I heard you're a finance." I said, "Yes, yes. Are you interested in financial planning?" And she's like, "Yes." And then I told her, "Oh, so you would have to pay. There is a cost to this." And she goes, "Okay." And then the next thing we speak maybe 2 months later, she said, "Oh, so I spoke to my account officer in the bank, and he put together a bunch of mutual plans for me, and I'm investing in that now." Coach T, please help me. If you are talking to someone who is, and I think quite a number of our guests may be in this position, they're on the fence. They're like, "Oh, I actually would, I can just go to the bank. There are all these asset managers, right? They are wealth planners in the asset management, and they can help me." What would you say is the difference between sitting down and actually having a financial plan and just going to get wealth advice and start investing?
Yeah, well, first off, people need to understand that an investment plan is just one aspect of your financial plan.
Thank
In
you.
fact, even inside that investment plan, there are different plans. When I tell people that, for example, if you say you want to play in stocks, I say, which type of stock? Do you know you need a plan to play in the stock market? If you say, okay, you want to do asset management, I said, which of the asset managers? You say you want to do mutual funds. I said, which of the mutual funds and why? So
Mhm.
everything has a plan. But most people think, oh, as long as I've got my money working for me, I'm fine. And here's what it does. And I'm always very quick to tell people this. There's this sense of this feel good sense. People want to feel good. So you hear someone say, oh, I'm investing, I'm doing well. Then they sit with a financial planner who humbles all of those their investments. They say, okay, so you've been investing, or you hear someone say, oh, I've been putting money aside in my retirement fund. I say, oh, wow, that's very nice. They will now drill down the numbers. So please tell me exactly how you've been investing. So, oh, I've got land here, I've got this building here. So, oh, fantabulous. So all you have your money, you've put 300 million in real estate. Say, yeah, so I'm doing very well. This one is for my children's school fees. This one's for when I retire. I say, wow. Ooh. So
You
you
have
sat
a
down,
house that is for children's school fees.
you get it now. So you're
Mm.
sitting here in 2026 and you're hoping that somebody that will fear God will pay rent in 2035 and that you will collect all of the rent and that Kachineke Mezuku, nothing will happen to real estate. In fact, everything will work out according to plan. I say, very, very good. Another one comes and says, oh, I have money in money market. I don't know what personal finances. I say, oh, very good. How much do you have in money market? Oh, no, I put a lot of money there. How much is a lot? Then you start hearing things like 10 million, 15 million, 30 million. And I'm saying,
And it's
okay.
for children education, Abby.
And so there's the sense of, there's a feel good sense when people do
Yeah.
things and they're like, oh, I'm doing this. Let me give you one that will shock you. I met someone and she said she had an education trust for her child. Oh,
Hmm.
wow. I said, that's so good because that covers risk and investment. I
Yeah.
said, oh, fantastic. So how much? Thanks, please. This evening, I don't want to fight. I'm trying to calm myself. I want to be emotionally intelligent today. I said, how
Ten
much?
thousand a month.
You will not believe it's 5,000 naira a month.
Oh, she's okay. Okay.
I said, you are putting 5,000 naira a month. She said, yes, for 5 years that, oh, that those people were coming to disturb her. So she started that she has an education fund and she was fine. And I sat her down. And that is why it's good to have a financial planner. What
Exactly.
a financial planner does is they take out the emotions and strip your numbers there. So we sat down and I said, okay, you said 5,000. Okay. So 5,000 times 12, because me, I like maths. Maths does not lie.
Mm,
5 times 12, Obuego, I said
2,000.
60,000. I said, okay, 60,000 times 5. Oh. As I
300,000.
started doing the times, by this time, her pride has started
She
coming.
started coming quiet, right?
She said, it's 300,000. I said, okay, please remind me again what class your child is. Say it was in nursery 2 or 3. And how much is the fee? He said 250,000. So I said, your cover for 5 years is
We cover
600
one time.
naira. So it's to cover less than a year's school fees. Now I want you to remind me, what did you say this 5,000 was for you? He said, Coach, just leave it. Let's agree that I've not started. I said, because before now, if I had stayed on the surface, I would have checked
Mm,
it off that you have an
mm,
education plan. And that's what happens to many people because it's money. And time, let me just backtrack a bit. Money is taboo for a lot of people. Money is taboo, money is fear for a lot of people. We are all, if we all go under some form of hypnosis, we will find out that we have some childhood trauma tied to money. For many of us, we cannot discuss money. There's nobody to talk about money with. A very few of us can discuss money with spouses, with siblings, with children, with parents. So, who are you talking to about money? If there's no neutral person, it means you are on your own taking decisions, you are on your own evaluating your finances. Yeah, and then if you are talking to the service providers, I'm going to say this with every degree of responsibility. If you go to a banker to talk about personal finance,
thank
they
you.
will sell banking products
They will sell the one that concerns them because they're
because
after making their own margins.
but beyond making margins, that's what they understand, and they are working for someone, so they are bound.
Yeah.
In fact, if you remember my story, why I left banking, this was the
Because you
fight.
could not sell anything else.
My organization said you had to. I had October. You have to sell our products, and I said that you've taken a fee from the client. It means you have to be objective. You have to sell across. And they said no. We are paying your salary. I said, but the client has paid a fee. And they said, no, what we can do is that the client must be forced to take products around the. I said, this one will not work now. It will not work because if the client needs a risk product, for instance, and our risk partner at the time was selling rubbish, for example, I wouldn't be morally justified to recommend that. And the
Mm.
fight started. Well, at some point, I knew I was going to have to leave. So for people who say, oh, my banker, or the most annoying, my spouse. Oh, don't worry, my husband is a banker. He knows what to do. Oh, let me go and ask my husband if he agrees. Or let me ask my wife. Oh, my daughter. My daughter knows about money. My daughter, the person you are asking, is the person objective enough? Does the person have the experience? Does the person have the training? So those are some of the issues. See, this matter is very long, but
Yes.
luckily we started talking about it.
So let me take you further on what you've just said. Um, there's this perception that I have seen. In fact, I think my clients who tend to be more open to conversations and actually managing their money are either single, divorced,
Divorced or
or widowed.
widowed. Yep.
There are very few women who are married who actually are able to stay the course or actually follow through on the plan. And then I have the male clients, the ones who I actually who are so I don't really take on a lot of male clients. And I think the reason that changed was the ones who come with their spouses. Oh my God, those are the best. The one where you are helping the man and the woman together, they're there together for the plan. It is the most fantastic because you can literally see the man is learning or he's pretending to learn, but he's at least listening, and his wife is hearing the same thing. And when they get home, she's pinching him. This is what we agreed in the plan.
I
Oh,
will
this is
report you to Coach T. They always
I have
report to
I
me.
have a client that literally will call me. Our session in this is this afternoon. Let me give you some heads up. Number one, this is what he did last week. Number two, he refused to do this one. Number three, so before the session, when I come to the session, I am very objective because I did not have any session with the woman, but she said something. I did not say anything back when we
Yeah,
entered the session. The point is, I find that when couples work together, it is so much different because they're hearing. It's like when you say we need to go to the same church as a family, so that all of us are hearing the same
message
thing.
at the same time.
They are hearing the same thing. But when you have a woman who is coming on her own, her husband will tell her something different. That look, it's not something I've been managing since. And men are very confident people. Once they get into one thing with finance, they know it, and they're very solid in their conviction about
Yeah.
it. I'm sure you have variety of clients, the male, the female. What do you see as the difference in dynamics with these different kinds of clients? And for those listening, please, if you have questions, put it in the comments. And remember, the reason we're having some of these conversations is for you to try and see yourself as well in the people we're talking about, in the examples we're given, so that you can start seeing where your gaps are and how you want to improve on it. Coach T, please tell me.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, what you just described is pretty common. In fact, what's beginning to happen with me is because I've been doing this for a bit. I'm now having next generation clients, situations
Oh,
where yes, I've the father set up his plan, got the wife on board. Now their first child has a financial plan, and you can see it. It's beginning to get into the next generation. I think that's one of the things that makes me happiest. Let's come back to the example you gave. I remember one of my very first clients, then I was still in the bank, one of my really, really first clients, when he heard me speak, in fact, that their own was a bit funny. I went to do a training in their estate, and as I was still talking, both of them looked at each other and just did what we're getting her, right? But so the wife came to me and said, "Tell my husband he must pay." No, 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 no. I know him. He'll say we want to start, but he will not pay. Drag him, make sure he pays. And but the husband called me. But the man didn't pay first. What he did, he paid for the wife. You know how men can be. And I had a
I
session with
actually
him.
had one of that kind of experience. Yeah.
So he paid for the wife and we started. Luckily, they were already on the right track. They had money, they were making many right decisions. They just didn't have an overall plan. And the wife said something to me. She said, "My husband doesn't give me enough money every month. We don't have enough money to run the month. I am the one augmenting. But my biggest problem is that my husband does not believe I'm supporting financially." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. If you're going to give me access to those kinds of information, I'm going to deal with numbers." So we looked at the numbers, and behold and lo, at that time, what he was giving was 150K monthly. Because his argument was he used to get some stuff, he used to pay for power, this and that. And the wife said, "Look at the numbers, T, just look." We looked at them, and there was a gap of about 100,000 every month at that time. I said, "Okay, so what he should carry in his own books should be 250 a month." She said, "I've begged this man, I've told him. He doesn't agree, doesn't believe." Meaning that I am carrying 100,000 per month for an expense that is not recognized by my partner. And I
So
said,
she's already carrying on the expense and he
"Oh
still
yes,
feels she's not contributing financially.
he was
Meanwhile,
no,
she's contributing a significant chunk.
his one is that she was not even bringing shish, that he's the one running the home." And I said, "Okay, this is a numbers problem, no problem." But I couldn't have that conversation with him because he hadn't paid.
Mm.
So apparently, I told her he has to pay so we can look at his own numbers. Let's see what he's carrying. So I had a session with him. And then two things. She also said, "I'm not going to draft my will until my husband drafts his will because I don't trust that he will recognize me in his will. I don't trust him. He's a very traditional." And I said, "His will has nothing to do." He said, "Lie, lie to lie, lie." Now let him write it first. I want to see what he wrote inside his will. Then I will not know what I will. That nobody is a fool here. I don't trust that man. And I said, "Okay, let's agree that your will has nothing to do with him." Anyway, we had this conversation. And I told her, "Go back, let August set up his plan." So she got to him and he said, he came grudgingly, say, "Madam, say that it's an important conversation." I said I would do it, but not today. I want to do it tomorrow, next time, next month. But she has convinced me, and I will not have peace until I do it. Okay, let's just do it. And we set up the plan. In fact, that session, then I used to still do physical sessions. I was in
Mm.
his office almost till night. This man there agreed to raise me. And he kept saying, "What is this thing I am hearing? What is this? What is this? Oh my goodness, I'm making wrong decisions." And then I said, you know what, sir, because you are doing your plan and your wife is doing her plan, there are some gaps. I would like us to have a joint plan. He said, yes, let's have a joint plan because that woman is not managing money well. I'm telling her there's so many things she's not doing. And I know that I cannot will my money to this woman until she has the. In my mind, I say, you don't even know the plans we have for you. They are of evil, not of good. To bring it to an unexpected end, you don't even know what's going on. So we planned it and we had a joint. Times you need to see that session. It was like a marriage counseling session. So he
it's
sat
always
here,
it.
wife sat here, and I said, okay, now we want to have a joint session, but let's start with the gaps. Sir, first of all, you're carrying in your books monthly expenses of 150. Do you believe that this? He said it's more than enough. Now, what does she buy? She doesn't do anything. What did he's doing everything? You need to see the wife's face. And I said, okay, that's what you believe. Ma, sorry, what numbers are you carrying? I said, coach, I'm doing, he sends 150 and it barely scratches. Ma said, what do you mean by this one? I talked to marriage therapist. And I said, it's nothing, it's numbers. I said, okay, so let's present your numbers, let's see. And then she went, because before then I had told her, when you're talking to men, don't come with emotions, come with numbers, come with facts. So she had prepared the budget. Before now, she wasn't doing budget, she was just doing normal. By the time she brought the budget, it was looking more like a 260, 275. When the man saw it and he said, ah, hey, it's true. Oh, God, you're the one that, hey, God, hey, oh, I see. Hey, oh, my darling wife. I see
It
me feeling
suddenly
like,
became a partnership.
I'm telling you, she said, oh, no, 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 no. You should have told me now. The 150 is not going there. And he's a very proud man. The 150, you didn't need to come to the public. She said, what have I been telling you since? He said, but now that you've put it in numbers, can't you see? It's clear. No, 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 no. We are moving your monthly to 300 immediately.
Oh,
Do man, she doesn't joke with me till today. I'm like her adopted child. And then he moved it to 300. I said, next time that you need to be doing like this. The wife now says, okay, now let's, you two, I want to see you. I want to see your budget. He said, no, 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 that's not yet ready. Because it's not yet ready. But
he's not ready to expose all those numbers yet.
His numbers were a mess. Subsequently, what started happening in that home was they started running the 3 accounting system. He had his, she had hers, and then
And they had a joint.
If you see the projects that couple has been able to put, if you see the projects, they have gone from, in fact, they're just superbly insane. And they carried that from their finances to their health, to their family. They've evolved in their children's life. I'm like a member of the family now. And
The adopted elder sister.
Oh, yes. And the will matter because they both answered no to will drafting. And I said, so let's talk about will. The man said, no, we cannot talk about will in public. I said, where's the public? It's me or your wife. He said, and this will matter. Let's leave it. When madam is not here, I said, it's fine that you don't will everything to your immediate family. In fact, we expect that you will will some to charity organizations and people. He says, see, and the truth is, I'm not sure I want to will money to this my wife. What if she goes and marries somebody?
Oh, the issues. What
if I give her all this my million billion?
And she goes to use it to marry another husband.
Another man, and the wife looks at him and says, yeah, seriously, are you for real? He says, yes, that's his biggest fear. But if we can assure him that she will not
marry, she will remain a devoted widow.
Oh God, what that just threw up was that we have a lot of issues. We have hang-ups, we have beliefs, cultural beliefs. Guess what? They both agree. As I'm talking to you, they've drafted and their will is very complicated. They will end up setting up a life, what they call a living trust.
A living
so
trust.
they'll end up having a living trust. But it's so beautiful now that they are doing their will jointly. So they are sitting down, looking at assets together. They have agreed who will get what, who will not get what each person. The children that are capable of inheriting certain things and how the assets, it's just such a beautiful family. Wherever he goes, he's a big man in one of the organizations. Wherever he goes, he calls my name. I'm always sneezing. He said, if you don't have to bury your life, your family is not a happy family. I am telling you, you are happy because you have secrets. Open all the secrets.
You know, that stuff you've said about secrets is very important. Let me give it this, what you've just said. This example you've given. For those listening, there are several ways to try to have conversations about finances with your partner. But it's important. Avoiding it is not one of the ways. You need to have it. Now, there are several ways people manage money, and I like to use myself as an example. So, you see the 3 budget system Coach T said? That's my best method. There are so many ways, people do it in different ways, but that's my favorite because it's transparent enough without being over transparent. So, you have your personal budget. I mean, if I want to buy something, I don't need to go and be telling my husband that I want to buy ice cream. He will not allow me buy ice cream. So I need to have my own money to do it. And you see, when your husband buys gifts for you and you did not know it was coming, it's very important now. You see, when you're getting the nice handbag, me that I don't used to carry handbag. Now I have 2 beautiful handbags. I go carry bag by force for this life. So we have the individual budget and then we have the joint one. Now that joint budget is for projects. We contribute into that account monthly as well. Now, a few years ago, I think about 2 years ago now, we were contributing a certain amount to the account. And I told my husband one day, babe, this money is not going anywhere again. Man said, see, we increased it the first time, we increased the second time. Please, 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 we need to manage. I think we're overspending in this house. We're just spending as if money is falling from the sky. I said, okay. I didn't complain, I didn't say anything. After saying it twice and he complained, the next weekend, I said, babe, I'm not feeling too well today. Please, can you go to the market? Because fortunately, my husband is very hands-on and he doesn't mind going to the market.
Yeah.
He even likes cooking. So going to the market means that he will get what he wants to get, to cook what he wants to cook. He went to the market. When he came back, in fact, he went to the market with his sibling that day. And then when they were in the market, that one called me that, why I want to get this one, but they are saying this is the amount. I said, I don't know. Why are you calling me? Is your brother not there with you? Ask him. Coach T, when they came back, I was like, hey, babe, sorry, I noticed that you moved some money. Was that all in the market or you spent it somewhere? So you're going to increase it. It's fine. It's enough. Someone will not hear what again in this house. So in this example, Coach TJ, he got out the numbers. In mine, I made it even more practical. Okay, go see what's in the sell for market. Because if I say me, I dey talk waiting no through. Go check market by yourself.
Yeah.
So that transparency, it's important because it helps you know that the other person, you see, there's no reason you get married to a man and you kill him basically.
Yeah.
When he's transparent, you can act, and if you like the man, you know that there are some wicked wives and there are some wicked husbands. Let's focus on the nice ones. Like this example you gave, the man seems to be no woman. But over time, you can see that he's not like that. He just had his own personal hang-ups.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Now, when you start having those conversations, you realize that it was more of me thinking that she was not bringing money or me thinking he was not bringing enough. Meanwhile, everybody was doing a lot. But once you have that joint conversation, you start to see that what you thought it was is not necessarily what it is. And this is really just talking about the planning. Now let's come together. Let's bring it all together. What is a financial plan? What are the things it entails?
Okay, so good. Thanks a lot for that example that you gave. I was just laughing because I think we all have our stories. And just to add to that, before I respond to the financial plan question, I like to tell people privacy is good, privacy is important, but secrecy is dangerous because secrecy has to do
There's
with
a difference.
occupation. Yes, it's the reason behind it. When you start hiding for malicious reasons. But having said that, it also depends on the maturity of your spouse. I have a client who says to me, Tobari, stop going online because my podcast, I have another set of podcasts. This one, everywhere will scatter. And he says, Tobari, stop advising people to be open with their spouses. You don't know the spouses they are married to. Some of us know waiting we marry, and we can never, 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 never. In fact, that one, he said, never. I would rather die than be open to my wife. Because see, this is my wife. The day she has an inkling, in fact, what she thinks I have, I'm already going through a lot. The day she has an inkling of my true worth, there will be no peace and I cannot grow wealth. That is the woman I'm married to. What I will then do is to reveal to her based on the degree of her capacity to handle information. So, because of that, I always put this caveat that depending on who you are married to, but it is not best practice because when there is a danger in the family can suffer unnecessarily, not knowing that there are reserves somewhere, which is why this should be addressed before even getting married. Before you marry the person, be sure, ask yourself, will I be willing to reveal everything to this person?
For
If this
those who are
person
still in that, who still have the opportunity to make that
yeah,
decision.
so those who have not married, you don't know what God has done for you. Now you can improve on your checklist. But those who have
Exactly.
already married, you know what you do. You just take it like that and build and hope and pray and then try to grow with your spouse. And now segueing into financial plan. Your financial plan is not just savings, it is not just investing, it is not
Mm-hmm.
just putting money aside. Your financial plan is a holistic plan. It covers a risk plan, which is what many people don't have. A simple test. I always tell people, you've put up that $200 million edifice. Do you even
Mm-hmm.
have a fire extinguisher? At the point of designing the house, did you have the thoughts around safety? If you look at corporate institutions, there's always a risk plan. They ask questions around, if there's fire, what should happen? If there's burglary, in the case of an emergency, in the case of war, in the case of civil unrest, they answer those questions. But when it comes to your own personal finance, you don't ask those questions. You should. So your financial plan covers a risk plan. It covers, of course, an investment plan, which is also a plan. How much of my money should go into long term, short term, liquid, not so liquid, risky, not so risky? All of that is in your investment plan. It also covers your retirement plan. The days are coming when I will not be as strong as I am. When I become feeble and frail, how will I eat? How will I drink? How will I sustain myself? How will I travel? Who will fund it? What will fund it? That thing that is funding it, is it exposed to risk? If it is, how am I protecting the risk? So you see that everything is kind of convoluted
Yeah.
and intertwined. But that's what your financial plan is. It also covers your estate and legacy plan. When I pass on, not if I we will all pass on, when the time
Mm-hmm.
comes and I'm ready to exit the stage, who gets what? Am I leaving things in order, or is my death creating more chaos? Who gets what and how and why? Then what will I be remembered for? All of this, my suffering, all this, my struggles, all of these pains, will it go down in history as if I never existed? If I want to be remembered, how am I going to be remembered? What structures am I putting in place? What legacy projects am I putting in place? Do I want to be remembered electronically, print wise, etc.? Do I want to put up edifices and so on? That is for estate and legacy. It also covers multiple streams of income. This million billion these people are calling, I cannot work it out on my own because I only have one head, two hands, and 24 hours. What can I do to earn more with what I currently do? How do I leverage? What can I do? So that's streams of income. It also covers a tax plan. How do I earn more money and pay less tax? What can I do? What are the combination of factors I can use? All of these, and of course, with the budget, all of this sits on the budget. So when you put all of these numerous plans together, it gives you your financial plan. Now, if you look at this, you will see that it is way, way beyond just saving money and investing money. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Someone says the audio is low, but I'm speaking.
I can hear fine from my end. Can you hear us now, Boma?
Sorry.
Can
Okay.
anyone else hear us? If you can hear us, just let us know.
Okay. So Hadiza says it's fine
Okay,
from her
Hadiza
end.
says it's fine. Okay.
So
I
it's most
can
likely.
hear, but it's low. I don't know
Yeah.
whether it's me.
Okay.
Please
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
most
help.
probably from you, Boma.
It's from your end then, because others are saying it's fine.
Okay, thank you. Let me work
All right.
on it.
Thanks for the feedback, though. Okay. Okay. So, terms, that would be it in a nutshell.
So everybody tends to think when you say finance plan, you're talking about the budget. Actually, yes, there's a budget. Don't get it wrong. You have to have a budget. So we're not saying it's not a budget. But what we're saying is before the budget, everything else needs to be there. Because you see, so let's even start with where are you going? Your goals. What are your goals? You see the
Absolutely.
whole thing about your retirement plan. It's linked to your goals. I want to retire at 60. I want to have 1 billion naira in retirement funds. Amen. Amen. It's
Oshé.
all
That
fancy
sounds like
wishes, right? I want to send my children to the best schools in the world. I want to own a house that I'm living in and then have another house in another country because my children are going to go to school in the US and I need to have a house there so that when I visit them, very we can dream all the dreams we want. You start with all the things you want to achieve. These are your goals. Whether the long-term ones, the medium term, the short-term ones, you know what you want to achieve. Okay. Based on what you want to achieve, can you actually afford it? Because you see, I want my children to go to Yale. I want to own a house near the university.
Would I go to Yale or Yaba?
My sister, wait now. I want to own, in fact, I had a session with a client and she has this amazing plans for her children. Honestly, it was fantastic. And then I'm like, okay, good. So these are the things you want to achieve for your children. And these are the things you want to achieve for yourself. These are the things you want to do for your mother. These are the things you want to do for your husband who has recently retired due to an injury. So he's not really making money of his own, right? But he's been a good man to you. So you want to make sure that you are taking care of him as well. So he doesn't feel less than. Perfect. You have all these fantastic plans. How much are you earning? Now she's earning very well. But you see, the first child is in SS1. Second child is in JS2, and the third child was, I think, primary 4. How much are you earning? How can you achieve all of this when you don't have anything in savings? Currently, they were living in a rented apartment, so they didn't even own their house. So even that goal was going to be full cash plan towards owning a house. Then the education you want for these children, because of your husband's illness and the disability pay he's gotten, it's not going to cover much. So because you've itemized everything you want to achieve, and then you brought out your real life situation of your earnings and the assets you currently own, it's easier for you to then see, this is the full picture of what I can do. This is what I can afford to do. And that is why a financial plan is not your budget. Your budget is literally what everything else would rest on. So for everyone listening, please understand that a financial plan is not a luxury. In fact, I remember some years ago when I was speaking to someone about that person was like, financial planner, it means that you're looking for the Bill Gates of this world, like the rich people that have money. It's not someone that has money that will be planning. And I gave this example, and interesting, I used that example in my book as well. Someone who has a 4-bedroom house with 2 children, you don't really have to overly think about it. Child A, this is your room. Child B, this is your room. Me and my husband have our room. In fact, the other room is for my clothes. I don't have to arrange my clothes. And anyhow, I'll just be sticking them into wardrobes. I'm okay. But you see, the person living in a face me, I slap you, with 4 children, you have to be very structured about how you arrange your things because you have smaller space. It's the same thing with money. The less money you have, the stronger and the more significant your plan is to you. So it is actually the person who doesn't have as much that needs a plan more than the person who has a lot. So I don't see much questions in the comments. So Coach T, I would ask you, we've talked about quite a number of things around. We've given examples, especially with partnerships and planning money as a couple. We've talked about what your financial plan is. It's a cumulative of so many other things that all feed into the budget. The budget is to be the final thing because you have to fund everything, right? But all these little plans help you know where you're going and then put it together into your budget. Can you, from your experience, give an example of some examples of the costs, the actual practical costs people have borne from not having a plan?
Okay, yeah. So first off, I always say this to people: the first thing you are losing, the first cost you are experiencing is the cost of time. Uh, if you've listened to me long enough, there are 3 T's I always tell people that God blesses you with, and they become a curse if you don't use them: time, talent, and tide. But of all of them, the most vicious is time. The way time blesses you when you use it well is the same way it curses or punishes you when you don't use it. When you don't set up your financial plan early, what you are going to lose is the benefit of time. For the man who starts compounding 50,000 naira monthly over 20 years, and the man who starts compounding 50,000 naira monthly over 10 years, there is no comparison. For the man who has started early, same 50,000, but the first one who started early, by the 10th year, the money is doing double what he is putting in. So you see that time starts rewarding him and compensating him as if time and he are working together. But for the one who did not start, not only have you wasted time, you have also lost money. There's also the false sense of comfort that comes with not having a plan. And I think that's what many people prefer. The whole ostrich in the sand, ostrich
Mm-hmm.
head in the sand, burying the
Head
head
in
in the sand
sand, yeah.
thing. And they feel if I don't confront it, I'm at peace and it's better for me. I'd rather not know. But when you say you'd rather not know, at what cost really? It's like a man who does not know he's hypertensive and he says it's better I don't check my blood pressure. The foolishness
And
of that.
you mind dying a surprise death?
No, if you die, that's even very. First of all, if you die of hypertension quickly, it's cheaper for the people you leave behind, and everybody is fine. It's just burial cost. But what if you don't die, and you live with the consequences of your inaction? Because you think you are fine, you think you are well, you think all is well, then time starts to deal with you, the shocks that come with it. It's better you confront it and know whether you are earning enough. If you are not earning enough, there is no shame in it. I am not earning enough. I've looked at this call, none of us is earning enough. If you're not earning enough, what does it do? It then spurs you to action. You then say, okay, I'm not doing as well as I ought to, considering I'm still young, considering I'm still strong, considering I have opportunities. But how do you know how well or how badly you are doing? For example, and I'm going to give practical examples here. As of today in Nigeria, if you have a job that is paying you 400,000 naira a month and you live in Ibadan, Port Harcourt, Lagos, Abuja, as far as the Nigerian universe is concerned, you are not poor. Even the government will not recognize you as poor,
Mm.
according to people and government. But when you fit in your financial plan numbers, you are poor. What does that mean? If you listen to government, if you listen to people, if you listen to people who call you a bomb, my chair, able chair, people who call you boss in the office, you will have the false sense of comfort. People will approach you as a rich person. They'll ask you for money, you will dash, you will gift, you will borrow, you'll be chairman of events, you'll be high table, everything, because you have the false sense of comfort based on your 400,000. But by the time you sit down with your financial plan, and your plan is telling you that your monthly contributions to your retirement fund should be a minimum of 200 or 250,000. Once you have done that and you've backed out 250K from that, your 450, as you're looking at the 200,000 eyeball to eyeball, before even savings, before expenses, already you know that there is a gap. What does that then do to you? It spurs you to action. You say, okay, yes, apparently I'm not as wealthy as I am. How can I move this from 450 to even 550? Then from 550, and here's what happens, Terms. Once you understand your numbers, it's like jazz. Once you've understood your numbers, you begin to see opportunities. Like me, I'm
Yeah.
coming from an event. Normally, I would have said, oh no, I have an event in the evening. I'm not sure I want to really stress myself. But please excuse me, what is stress? In this matter like this, no, 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 no. I had one event this morning, I had one this afternoon. I'm here this evening. Meaning, therefore, that you begin to see that you have capabilities. Does this mean you will not rest? Of course, you will rest. But why are you resting when you have not hit your target? But how will you
Mm.
even know your target if you don't have a plan? And how will you have a plan if you don't set it up? So these are the issues: the false sense of comfort, the time you lose, the people who hang around you. You're hanging around the wrong people because you simply do not know. I think the biggest danger of not having a financial plan is the whole idea of wallowing in ignorance. For me, that's the biggest risk. So there are many
And
costs, and
ignorance
that's
is, we
mm,
think it is, but it's not. Ignorance is not bliss. Um,
okay. Let's say
Adelaide, do you want to mute your mic? Thank you.
someone said I'm harsh this evening. Me this evening like this, very gentle.
Ignorance is not bliss, people. It's not. It seems like it is until you realize that you have little children who would likely suffer from the implications of that ignorance. Once you realize that you're not alone, you're not responsible for yourself alone. And even if you don't have children, you probably have dependent parents. You probably have a dependent spouse. You have people who rely on you. In that case, it's important that you step away from just thinking of yourself and think about others around you. Now, Coach T, thank you
Yeah,
so much for tuning in.
Terms. I
Go
just
on.
wanted to add. I wanted to add something. One
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
costs, and I think this is one that is very common. I just remembered it. Is that many people? I used to have a boss that used to say, "Organs, he would say, are you are it's all motion without movement." So you find out that you are financially busy, but there's no project, there's no progress. So you see a lot of people, oh, money's coming in, money's going out, especially for business people. Those in paid employment, it's a bit more structured because your employer helps you. But if you're in entrepreneurship, money is coming in your mind. Cash flow is equals to revenue. I laugh in Japanese. So you see money, you are spending, you are buying, you go to China, you're importing, you're selling, your DM is full, things are happening, activity. But if you don't settle down and plan, in fact, the first shock most entrepreneurs have is that they are they are illiquid. Many of them, they
Yeah.
have a lot of assets, fixed asset stocks in inventory. They have a lot of turnover. They have a lot of receivables unpaid. They have all of that going on. But because they see activity, someone is buying tomorrow, someone is buying shaki, they feel that money is their money. By the time they strip the account bare, then they'll start looking at you and say, but this thing is doing as if I don't have money, but I have money now. Don't I have money? I say, why are you asking me?
Apparently you don't.
You don't have shishi. It's like someone in distributorship business. People are paying into your account. You are doing cement. Dangote is supplying. Why is supplying? You've forgotten that they're
That's actually
advancing your
possible.
credit. That money is not your money. That money is Dangote's money. But the money your account is doing billion. So if you don't have a financial plan, you will be financially active but poor in terms of real wealth. I just needed to add that.
Yeah, so let me drop this last example. If you are self-employed, your case is actually worse, in quotes, because like Coach T said, your employer is not planning for you because you are your own employer. Those who are in paid employment, at least they have a PFE. They have money going to pension. Chances are if you do not set it up, you don't have a pension. So if things go bad in the business, life happens. And when, God, I know some people that will tell you, look, we are putting the money into our business. In fact, if anyone here is following the story series that I post on LinkedIn and Instagram, you would have seen that coming through in one of the conversations between a husband and wife, actually, where the man is like, look, we have a business that is thriving. What are you talking about investments? If you want to invest, go and buy land. Now, there's so many things that are wrong with that as an example, but the summary is, as someone who is in business, you don't have an employer who is managing a pension fund for you. So that's already a challenge that you have. But even those in paid employment that think, oh, I have a pension, so I'm good, I'll have something to earn in my retirement. Your pension in total is at about 18% of your gross income. Now, let me be clear. A lot of employers structure your salary with different lines. You have basic salary, you have housing allowance, you have transport allowance, you have, in fact, some will tell you security allowance, home ownership allowance, all those things. Now, the PFA is very clear on what lines of your salary make up the money that they will use for the 18%. It's just your basic, your
So
housing, your transportation. So now imagine that you are one of those people that your employer is very smart and they're paying you 50 million a year, but your basic is 5 million. Your transportation is 1 million. Your housing is 10 million. That's 16 million, Abby. Nice money. And then the remaining 30 something is in the
come
other
to you.
allowances that are not pensionable. Your pension is going to be 18% of that 16 million every year. So if you bear that in mind, it is actually not that much money. 16 million, that's about what? 3 million a year, if you are lucky, right? That's what's going into your pension. And you invest 3 million every year for 30 years, you think you've invested a lot. You have less than 100 million, maybe a bit more depending on the returns. And you are looking forward to that as your pension when you retire. Have you done the math to know if that money will actually be sufficient? You are 49 now. Your children are in primary school. So you will still pay secondary school. You will still pay university. Some of it, you'll probably pay it in retirement. Is it that pension you want to be using? Bear in mind that this money in your pension, it's not going to all be given to you as cash when you retire.
Lump
No.
sum, yeah.
You will get like 25% of it, and the rest will be paid to you monthly. The point is there's so much that we need to know. Now, if you're in your 50s, does that mean it's too late? No. There's still something that can be done. If you're in your 20s, I envy you. because you are the one with the luxury of time. And for all of us in between, we need to find our own place and figure it out. So, look, this Coach T, this conversation, we've been having it for a long time. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful to you for joining us again today. I see we don't have questions, but if you have any question, you still have some minutes to put it in the chat box, and Coach T and I would address them. But there are so many things that have come out that even me that knows it, I do this for people. These conversations sometimes bring about sober reflections. You just ask yourself, oh, there's this still one thing. Have I sure this
Yeah.
thing is going the way I want it? Because guess what, guys? Even the financial coach needs a coach. Because there's something Coach T said, someone who is away from you would see things from a perspective that you're not seeing it. So if you are someone who this conversation has, it's spoken to you, you can see yourself as, okay, maybe I need to get a financial plan. And you're wondering, how do I go about this? You can get a finance coach. But if you would prefer to go through it at a more affordable rate, that is actually the reason I came up with the Money Simplified program. It's a course. So if you're someone who just likes to learn by yourself and work on your own plan yourself, you can get the course. And if you are someone who would like to be part of a group, you have accountability, you have access to the coach, which is me, you have a full-fledged plan at the end of it, you can get the boot camp. IT will be putting the link in the comments now. So you can actually click on the link and register for this. The boot camp starts on the 1st of April. I've been very busy working on this and I'm looking forward to it. And I hope to see some of you there. So without further ado, we'll check if there are any other questions. Coach T, do you want to say anything? Do you have anything you want to leave the audience with today before we go?
Yes, I just want to encourage them. First of all, let me blow your minds. First of all, Thames is a financial planner. So am I. But we both have financial planners. We both pay for services. The reason is simple. You cannot know it all. I think Thames even has like 5 coaches. We all have multiple coaches. We all have multiple
Different
financial.
parts of my life.
Absolutely. We all have we ask people for help. I have someone coaching me for investment, someone coaching me for risk. I have an accountability partner. I have my own financial planner. We all need help. Unfortunately, not all of us can afford to pay for everything. But one thing I will encourage you to do is to stay in access, stay in community, stay in group. I would prefer, well, I don't know the price. At times they didn't tell us the cost of things, but I will tell you for free that if you pay for a course, it will take you a long time
Yeah.
to cover it. But if you stay in a community, people will learn, people will share. You stay in that community, you can learn from others beyond just learning from your coach. So I would encourage everyone who can get in the community, learn. It's money. Money will never go out of. I'm still learning as I did like this. I'm still learning a lot. I keep learning every day because times are changing, situations are changing. If you can get in there, if you can't plan to get in there, one thing I've realized is that whatever you plan always comes to pass. Adesi says she has a question. So, times those would be my thoughts with regards to this. But Adesi says she has a question.
Adeze, please ask your question aloud. Go ahead. You can unmute yourself.
Okay, she asked it in the chat. Most business people
Yes.
feel it's waste setting money aside when they can use it for stock. And I would assume this will be inventory back in the business. I see this all the time. It's a very common thing. It's a common argument with business people. But like I always tell people, the people, and this is with all due respect, but with time you'll see patterns, and we are products of parents and cultures. This comment is usually common in the among the Easterners and the southern part of Nigeria. The Westerners don't usually make these kinds of comments. Those who have financial backgrounds, they don't make this kind of comment. The Northerners don't make this kind of comments. So for a typical, let me use that Igbo man who is a trader, and this is my fight with them all the time. It simply does not make sense for him to put 100 million in a money market fund and get a 20 million or an 18 million at the end of the year. It doesn't make sense because he believes he can put that 100 million in the business and it can bring back another 100 million. The fault with that argument is that it is hinged entirely on faith and hope that nothing will go wrong with the business. The business will always prosper. There will be no losses. But he's forgetting that entrepreneurship business is the highest risk when it comes to investment types. The returns are highest, but the risks are insanely high. So when he's doing his calculation, all he's thinking is, I will turn that container 2 times, forgetting that something can
Turnover.
happen to goods in transit, forgetting that there can be theft, forgetting that even he himself can fall ill. There's something I always ask people that if really, truly, business is the only source of revenue, why do we have billionaires like Dangote, Bill Gates, Elon Musk? Why are they investing in the stock market? Why are they investing in cash? Why are they investing in gold? Why are they investing in real estate? Why can't they put, I mean, Dangote knows his refinery makes money. Why is he putting money in cement? Why is he
Why is he
putting
even
money in the
selling any
stock
of
market?
it on the
Why
stock
is he
market?
even bothering? Why is he doing CPs? Why can't he just say, oh no, this cement is all that? No, because he understands that every business carries a risk. And I like to use the example my mentor uses for explaining this because it makes a lot of sense. If you truly want to create wealth in entrepreneurship, understand that your left leg is for business, your right leg is for investing.
Hmm.
Yes, you can hop on one leg, but how far can you go and how long can you stay? But if you
Hmm.
put your right leg on the ground and then you put your left and you put your right and you put your left, you can go for hours and even days without falling. So whenever you think about your business or you think you're only investing to grow wealth, know that it is impossible. You need the two legs to be stable and to go further. Those will be
And
my
that is actually really the whole thing around diversification.
absolutely.
Just balancing yourself a bit. And literally 2 feet on the ground, you're more balanced. Thank you so much, Coach T.
Investing in cash. Yeah, so when we say cash, we are talking about liquid assets. So that
Yeah,
would be
so
fixed
money
deposit, treasury,
markets.
money
Yeah,
market.
yeah. Thank you so much, Coach T. Thank you very much. And
Thanks for
guys,
having
remember
me.
the link is in the chat. If you're interested in getting the course, it is currently going at a discounted price of 30,000. And trust me, the things you are getting. Uh, I've worked on this for over 6 months. It is, even I am enjoying reviewing it as we're putting it up online. And if you would want to join the boot camp, which is more hands-on, then that is 100,000 for now. So there's a pre-launch discount. So please take advantage of it. Share it with your friends, share it with your children. It's time we start learning these things that we were not taught in school. I'm probably teaching our children
Absolutely.
early. Coach T, how can our audience reach you? How can they meet you? You're
Oh,
online?
okay. Uh, Let me type it in the chat.
Okay,
But my name
great.
is Tobaru Olumoye, so you can see me everywhere at Otobaru Olumoye. But let me just put it
Thank
Otobaru.
you so much,
Thanks
Coach
for
T. I
having
really
me.
appreciate you and thank you for
Thanks for
this.
having me. So this is
Thanks
what
to
I
the
have, right? I've put it
yes,
in my
great.
number.
And thanks to the audience for sticking with us. We actually have everyone has stayed for over an hour. Thank you so much for sticking with us and have a good evening. Bye.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye bye.